Ojalá él pregunte, ¿verdad?
Parece que va a ser como la plaga que les pegó a los Ramírez el año pasado.
There you see it, a clip from Dos Estaciones. This is a time of year when we celebrate the wonderful movies that come out of Latin America, Spain, Portugal. The 38th annual Chicago Latino Film Festival is about to kick off, and joining us to guide us through some of the best, Alejandro Riera. He's going to talk about some of these movies that we'll see again. I think it's over 100 movies, right,
It's
Alejandro?
close to 100 this year.
Close to 100.
Yep.
So, and all of them are remarkable. I feel like every time I watch one of these, I'm just so amazed by the wonderful work that so many of our folks do. Let's talk about some of the ones that we'll see and what's different this year, because you're coming off of this pandemic, right?
We're coming off the pandemic. Well, we're going back to the theater.
Okay,
That's
good.
The big
That's
thing.
the big thing.
That's the big thing. We're going back to the theater, even though we're still taking baby steps. I mean, instead of the 4 to 5 screenings at, say, the AMC River East, we're only doing 2 screens at the Landmark Century Center. Part of it is because we still know, even though people say, no, we're not, we're still in the middle of a pandemic.
Right.
And, you know, one of the communities that's been most affected by the pandemic is the Latino community. So it makes sense for us to embrace the theatrical experience again, because that's where we belong, but also do it carefully, conscientiously, you know, taking into consideration the fact that people may still not be comfortable about going to a movie theater into an enclosed space, which is one of the many reasons why we kept the virtual portion of the show. I mean, virtual has become a very important and satisfactory tool for film festivals like ours.
Yeah, part of so many industries, right? It's become so important in so many industries. But I do think it's a good point that we need to get back to sort of our everyday lives, and going to the movies and enjoying that time out is one of them. We're going to talk about The Last Tour, which is one of the movies. Where is that from, The Last
That's
Tour?
from Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico,
All right, so
okay.
maybe
I
your
think we've
mom...
got a clip, too.
Oh, let's talk about that.
No, go ahead. As we see this clip, tell me about the movie.
Absolutely. Well, I was going to say, this is one movie. We were talking earlier before we started rolling that you wanted to take your mom to one of these. This is what you will like. This is the fictional account of Daniel Santos' last tour. Now, if you are an old school bolero listener, you know who Daniel Santos was. He recorded over 400 songs. He was very popular in the 40s and 50s. He performed alongside the Pedro Colo Flores Quartet, the Sonora Matancera. He built this persona around him of being this uber bohemian who will seduce every single woman that he ran into across his many trips to Latin America, and who get embroiled in as many barroom brawls as possible. So the film is a wonderful and very remarkable, well-done film about that, you know, fictionalized a little bit about what happened when he decided to make this one last comeback tour. The time the film starts, he's in Ocala, he's a grocery store owner, and he's trying to make this brief comeback. And it's a wonderful performance from Hector Rivera. Well-done film. It's one of my favorites, and I know, you know, if you take your mom, she's bound to recognize...
I'm going to score points, huh?
Yeah,
if I take her to that one.
She's bound to recognize at least, you know, she'll be able to recognize a good chunk of the songs performed there.
And now, is this one of the movies that we can see at the theater?
At the theater and virtually as well, yeah. Okay. So here's the thing about, you know, we're back at the theater, but I will say about 90% of the films that we're showing at the drive-in, at the Instituto Cervantes, and at the Landmark Century Center will be made available virtually to residents of Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Indiana, Michigan, and Iowa.
Okay. That's good to know. That's a long list.
So if you missed, if for some weird reason you can't make it to one of our showings at the Landmark Century Center, you got options. You can still watch it at home virtually during the festival.
Okay, next up, I believe we've got La Guerra Civil, the Civil War.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, this is we got this straight out of Sundance. This is Eva Longoria's feature filmmaking debut. This is the story of the rivalry between Julio César Chávez and Oscar de la Hoya. You know, a rivalry that we all lived through in the 90s.
Yeah.
We all covered in the 90s. But it's also a film about the culture shock and the culture clash that many Latin American communities face when they're dealing with the second and third and fourth generation of their sons and daughters vis-a-vis their own national heroes. So this whole issue about identity, about Mexicans not acknowledging Mexican Americans as part of their culture and vice versa, the fact that many Mexican nationals identified with Julio César Chávez here in the United States, whereas many Mexican Americans, obviously, their hero was Oscar de la Hoya. So the documentary talks through the experience of these two men and has tons of interviews with both about that rivalry between the two men, and a rivalry that transcended the boxing ring. It had more to do with identity.
Okay. You mentioned Eva Longoria, that this is one of her. Does she narrate the movie or anything like that? She just directs it.
She just directs it.
Okay.
But it's like to me, it's interesting that she decided to make her feature filmmaking debut, looking at this particular chapter in Latino history and looking at this rivalry precisely from that perspective.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get some limited theatrical release after its festival run, and I believe it may air on television by the end of the year. But, this is your chance to catch it with a good public, and I suspect we'll have a packed crowd for this one.
Okay, good. Plaza Catedral is the next one. Where's that from?
That's from Panama. That's our opening night film at the drive-in. The only time you'll be able to see the film at the drive-in. This one won't be available virtually, so you better get your tickets. It's from Abner Benaim. Abner Benaim is right now for Panama what directors like Jairo Bustamante is from Guatemala, pretty much people who are carrying the weight of their film industry on their shoulders. This is the third film of Abner's that was chosen by Panama to represent them at the Oscars this year. This is the story of a woman who's still dealing with the loss of her child, a woman from the high spheres of society, Mexican expat in Panama, who befriends this young Afro-Panamanian kid who is involved in, illicit affairs, and the relationship that builds between them, and how that relationship is used to explore issues of class, issues of racism, social and economic differences. Benaim has come out pretty much as the only, pretty much the leader of Panamanian cinema. As I said before, he's carrying the weight of the entire Panamanian film industry on his shoulders. We had one of his films before Invasion, which was a reenactment of the American invasion of Panama during the Manuel Noriega regime. And then he did a wonderful documentary called Ruben Blades, It's Not My Name,
Ruben Blades,
a couple of years ago. Great documentary on Ruben Blades. So, Central American cinema is coming out of its own. It's not only Guatemala and Panama that are developing their own film community, I won't say industry, but the film community, the film activity, but you have countries like Costa Rica, who have, in the last few years, sent out a significant number of films that have met with good reviews and good critiques and the festival circuit.
Pura vida.
Yeah.
Right? All right, you mentioned opening night. So you guys are having sort of your traditional opening night event? How is that going to work?
Not really. We're going to do the driving works so well for us still. And because it's still in that space where we are not feeling confident yet about having big events with a big crowd and enclosed space with foods and what have you, but also because the drive-in work well. We're doing our opening, closing night presentations, our centerpiece presentation, and a late night screening of a horror film at the Chi-Town Movies in Pilsen. We've embraced the drive-in. It was successful. It was fun. It is really fun. So I do think that moving forward, we'll see future editions of the festival embracing these three different platforms, these three different ways to approach movies of traditional theatrical. Well, come on, let's be honest. Drive-in is traditional, except that nobody did much drive-in until the pandemic hit us. Thanks to the pandemic, it's made a comeback. But, you'll see us, and I think other festivals as well throughout the country, still working with three different entry points into movies.
And they're all a lot of fun. They're all a lot of fun. Okay, so it starts the Chicago Latino Film Festival. Give us the dates again and how people can go about getting tickets as we wrap it up.
We start April 21st.
April 21st.
We close on May 1st. Even though our closing night screenings are on Saturday, April 30th, we'll still have one day of screenings at the Century Center on May 1st. And for more information, Chicago Latino Film Festival.org. .org.
ChicagoLatinoFilmFestival.org for more information on tickets, on movies, all that good stuff. All right. Thank you so much, Alejandro.
Sure. Thanks for having us again.
All right.